All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going kind of deep into this really amazing story about Jack Sawyer
Oh, yeah.
with the Ohio State Buckeyes.
It's a good one.
And just this incredible moment for him in the college football playoff semifinal.
Yeah.
And really just the journey that he's taken to get there. And, you know, this ESPN article kind of lays it all out for us. So
It does.
we're going to be going through all of that. But, you know, I think when you look at the kind of climax of this story,
Yeah.
it's got to be that championship game.
Right.
The national championship game
Yep.
facing off against Notre Dame.
Right.
You know, it's such a huge moment for him and for the team because it really is just the culmination of everything they've worked for.
It is. It is. And to get there, you know, we have to remember that loss to Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
That was a tough one.
Brutal.
Their fourth straight to their arch rival.
I know.
And that almost ended their championship hopes right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for that expanded 12-team playoff, giving them a second chance after that heartbreak,
Yeah.
I don't even know if we'd be talking about
Yeah.
Jack Sawyer in this legendary moment, you know.
Exactly. And, you know, this new playoff system is a game changer for college football. I mean, more teams, higher stakes, more drama,
Sure.
more opportunities for players like Sawyer to really make their mark on history. But,
Yeah.
you know, before we get to that legendary play, let's talk about Sawyer's choice to come back for his senior year.
Right.
I mean, he could have gone pro, right? He could have gone to the NFL.
Easily.
But he chose to stay with his team, you know,
Yeah.
to chase that championship with his brothers. I mean,
It says so much about him,
it really does.
you know, as a person.
Yeah.
And it's a tough decision,
Oh, absolutely.
especially with, you know, the risk of injury and all that.
For sure. And, you know, it's a decision that I think more and more players are going to be grappling with, you know, as we have this expanded playoff.
Yeah.
Do you chase that dream of a national title, or do you know, take the guaranteed money and the security of the NFL?
It's a really tough call.
It is.
But, yeah, you know, for Sawyer, it seemed like that legacy at Ohio State, you know,
Yeah.
that was everything.
Absolutely. And I think that Michigan loss, you know, it fueled him even more, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You could see that passion. You could see that commitment in every play.
Absolutely.
And speaking of plays, we got to talk about that legendary moment in the semifinal against Texas.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so picture this. It's the fourth quarter. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
Texas is driving. They're trying to tie the game.
Okay.
It's second and goal. And their coach, Steve Sarkisian, calls this really risky play
Oh, wow.
that almost works, but it doesn't.
Right.
Then on fourth and goal, everything changes. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers,
Okay.
who actually used to be roommates with Sawyer at Ohio State,
Oh,
drops back to pass.
okay.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh.
Sawyer, who's playing defensive end, reads the play perfectly.
Wow.
He bursts past the tackle.
Oh,
The ball pops loose, fumble,
no way.
and Sawyer scoops it
Is
up.
that it?
And he's gone racing down the field, 83 yards for a touchdown, just leaves everybody in the dust.
I mean, can you imagine the roar of that stadium, the adrenaline just pumping through his veins? I mean, that's got to be just an incredible.
Unbelievable, right? And it's even more amazing when you think about the strategy behind it. I mean, Sawyer wasn't just relying on brute strength here.
Right.
He anticipated the play. You know, he used his knowledge of the game and of his opponent to make this game-changing move.
It's like a chess match out there.
Exactly.
And he played it perfectly.
He did.
But you know, this story, it's about more than just one play.
Oh, for sure.
It's about, you know, the emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely.
Highs and lows,
Yeah.
the journey that led him to this moment.
The journey, right. And to understand that journey, we got to go back to his roots,
Yeah.
you know, his childhood in a Columbus suburb dreaming of wearing that scarlet and gray uniform. That's where it all began.
I love it. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. This kid from Columbus,
Right.
you know,
yeah.
a diehard Buckeyes fan, living and breathing Ohio State football. I mean, you can practically picture him in his backyard throwing that ball, dreaming of running onto that field someday.
Totally. And that deep connection to the program, to the community, I think it adds another layer to his decision to stay for his senior year. You know, it wasn't just about winning for him.
Mhm.
It was about representing something bigger than himself.
Oh, yeah, that hometown hero narrative.
Exactly.
You know, a chance to not only achieve his own dreams, but to inspire others in his community.
It's powerful stuff, and it makes that Michigan loss even more devastating, you know? Imagine carrying the weight of those expectations, that desire to bring a championship back to your city, and then falling short again against your biggest rival.
Ugh, 4 years in a row losing to Michigan.
I know.
It's got to be crushing, not just for the team, but for him personally.
Oh, absolutely. And the article highlights how close he came to being the hero in that game.
Really?
He almost had a game-saving interception at the goal line. Think about how different the narrative would be if that ball had landed in his hands.
It's amazing how one play, one moment,
Right.
can just shift the entire course of a season, a career, even a legacy. But
Yeah.
I guess that's the beauty of sports.
It is the unpredictability, the emotional highs and lows.
Yeah, and that's what makes Sawyer's resilience so remarkable.
It really is.
He could have easily let that Michigan defeat define him,
Yeah.
but he used it as fuel.
He did.
He channeled that frustration, that disappointment into an even deeper commitment to his team.
Yeah, and that's where you see true character, right?
Oh, yeah?
Not in the easy wins, but in how you respond to setbacks, to adversity.
That's a great point, and that's a lesson that resonates far beyond the football field.
Absolutely.
It's about, facing challenges head on,
Right.
learning from failures, using those experiences to grow stronger.
It's about grit determination and that unwavering belief in your ability to overcome obstacles.
So we're back to that semifinal game against Texas. We left off with Sawyer making that incredible fumble, recovery, and touchdown. But there's another fascinating layer to this moment.
Oh, yeah.
His connection to Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers.
Right. Remember they were former roommates at Ohio State?
Oh, that's right.
So you have this added element of personal history, almost a sense of destiny playing out on that field.
That's almost poetic.
Yeah.
Two young quarterbacks, both incredibly talented,
Right.
both with dreams of greatness, now facing off on opposite sides of this crucial play.
And what's really striking is Ewer's reaction after the game.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been bitter, he could have been resentful, but instead he praised Sawyer's skill.
Wow.
Acknowledged the incredible play that he had made.
That's awesome.
I mean, that speaks volumes about both of their
It's
characters.
a good reminder that even in the heat of competition,
Yeah,
there's room for respect for sportsmanship.
absolutely. And it reinforces this idea that Sawyer's story is about more than just winning or losing. It's about the bonds you form, the respect you earn, and the legacy you leave behind.
Speaking of legacy, let's talk about the impact of that game-winning play.
Yeah.
I mean, it cemented Sawyer's place in Ohio State history.
Oh, absolutely. Coach Ryan Day called him a legend in the post-game interview.
Wow.
And that's not hyperbole. I mean, that play will be replayed for years to come, shown to aspiring young Buckeyes.
For sure.
As an example of what's possible when talent meets determination.
It's the kind of moment that kids dream of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chance to make a play that defines your career, that etches your name in the record books. And for Sawyer, it happened on the biggest stage with everything on the line.
And remember, this was just the semifinal.
Right.
They still had the national championship game to play a chance to achieve the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
A national title for Ohio State.
So we've got this incredible buildup, all these emotional threads weaving together, and now we're heading into the biggest game of Sawyer's life.
The culmination of a journey filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of pure brilliance.
And now the national championship game,
Oh,
right? I mean, this is the final chapter of this story.
It is, and I think no matter what happens, win or lose this game is huge.
Yeah.
It's not just about a title, it's the culmination of everything we've been talking about.
Yeah.
The sacrifices, the resilience, the pursuit of this lifelong dream.
It's a moment every college football player dreams of.
It is.
Running on that field, with your brothers, the stadium lights are bright, the energy is palpable. And
Totally. And for Sawyer, this is his last game
Right.
as a Buckeye.
Yeah.
The final chance to really cement his legacy, in the heart of this program.
And speaking of legacy, I'm curious, how do you think this expanded playoff system affects a player's legacy? Like, does it dilute the championship, or does it create more opportunities for these kinds of moments?
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, having more teams in the playoffs could be seen as, lessening the achievement of reaching the championship.
Right.
But on the other hand, it creates more opportunities for, dramatic comebacks.
Sure.
For these underdog stories, for moments like Sawyer's that capture the nation's attention.
I feel like we're seeing a shift in the college football landscape.
Yeah,
More excitement, more chances for players to really make their mark on the game.
exactly. And for fans, it's arguably even more exciting, right?
Right.
More games,
Yeah.
more upsets, more chances for their team to make a deep run. I mean, the expanded playoff has definitely added this whole other layer of intrigue.
Well, and let's not forget the opponent in this championship game.
Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame. I mean,
On.
a program with a passionate fan base. It's Ohio State versus Notre Dame for the national title. I mean, you can't write a better script than that.
It's a classic matchup, full of history and tradition, and, it adds another layer of pressure for Sawyer.
Of course.
It's not just about winning a championship, it's about beating a rival,
Right.
cementing his legacy against a team that represents, everything Ohio State stands against.
And that brings us back to the heart of Sawyer's story. It's about that drive to compete, to overcome challenges, to push yourself beyond your limits.
It's about the pursuit of excellence, both individually and as a team.
Yeah.
It's about the moments of, both triumph and heartbreak, the lessons learned along the way.
And ultimately, it's about the impact you leave on the people around you, right? The inspiration you provide to those watching from the sidelines.
That's the true measure of success, isn't it?
Yeah.
The legacy you build, the impact you have on others. And in that sense, Sawyer has already achieved something really extraordinary.
His story resonates with us,
Yeah.
because it speaks to that universal desire to chase our dreams, to face our fears, to never give up on what we believe in.
It's a reminder that the journey is just as important as the destination,
Yeah.
The setbacks, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt, they all contribute to shaping who we are and what we achieve.
We've been talking about Sawyer's dedication, his incredible play in that semifinal game against Texas, but now he's going into this national championship and facing Notre Dame.
Big game.
So much pressure for him
It is.
in this moment.
Yeah, I think this game, it's huge for college football.
Okay.
But it's almost even bigger for Sawyer himself. This is his last chance to prove himself.
Wow.
To really leave his mark on the program.
It makes me think about this whole expanded playoff system,
Okay.
because on one hand, it gives more teams a shot,
Right?
but does it kind of dilute the meaning of the championship?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think there are definitely arguments on both sides.
Right.
Some people would say that having more teams in the playoffs devalues the accomplishment of reaching the championship game.
Sure.
But then again, you could also argue that it creates more opportunities for upsets and for memorable moments like the one Sawyer had.
Yeah. And for fans, it's got to be pretty exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, more games, more upsets, more chances for your team to go all the way.
And, in this case, it's Ohio State versus Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't ask for a better matchup.
It's a classic, right?
It's a national championship.
Two storied programs, battling it out for the title.
Yeah, and it all comes down to this.
It does. And for Sawyer, he's not just trying to win a championship. He's trying to beat a rival, cement his legacy against a team that represents everything Ohio State is not.
It's about so much more than just the game itself.
It really is. It's about the heart, the dedication, the will to overcome any obstacle.
And ultimately, I think it's about leaving a legacy
I think you're right.
that goes beyond the scoreboard.
And in that sense, I think Sawyer has already achieved something incredible.
His story is one that I think really resonates with people because it's about chasing your dreams
Absolutely.
and never giving up.
It's about facing your fears and pushing yourself to be your best,
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the story of Jack Sawyer, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
What dream are you willing to fight for?
That's a good question.
What legacy do you want to leave behind?
It's something for all of us to think about, as we reflect on Sawyer's journey. And remember, greatness isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the impact you have on the world around you.